check over on the stream, make sure it's working. Dang, we already have 46 likes. Dude, we got a bunch of new subscribers from doing that too. Holy crap. People are on it. Okay, cool. So I just refreshed. Stream is working. All right, so I'll get rid of this screen. And then that screen's frozen. But what's going on, everybody? We are here with Stag Alliance, and we are giving away, let me get rid of this. There we go. We are giving away 15 whitelist spots today, so huge shout outs to Stag Alliance for doing that for us. That is a lot of whitelists, so I want to break it up, and I feel like we don't reward the people who are here super early. We always wait, make you guys wait till the end. So the way that we're going to do this one is 5 whitelist spots up front, right after we do the intro, and then we'll do 5 whitelist spots in the middle, and then we'll do 5 at the end. So the way that this is going to work is you have to be subscribed. I see a lot of you already kind of figured that out because I got a lot of new subscribers. Thank you guys. But you have to be subscribed for at least a minute, and then you can type into the chat. Once you can type into the chat, just type in your Discord name, and make sure that you type in a hashtag symbol. So if your Discord name is I'm going to type it at Atlanick #6909. I'll type it like that. It should pick it up. So just do that in the chat, and then I will do the giveaway picker. But how you guys doing, Stag Alliance? Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you for inviting us on. It's been on my to-do list to come on your show for quite a while. I messaged you ages ago, it feels like now, just to get the contact. So I'm glad we're finally together.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You guys were super patient because I was in the middle of moving, and I forget what happened before that. I had to do a slight delay, but you guys were really patient. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. It looks like you've got a project on your hands with the house from the setup I saw. So are you quite on the DIY kind of work yourself, or?
You talking about like moving into the new house and such?
Yeah, I saw you had like your new setup. You've got like some kind of work going on.
Yeah, it's actually my parents' house that I'm moving into, and they decided to save money that they would just finish the basement themselves, like leisurely, whenever we're ready.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in this unfinished basement. Hold on, let me. Yeah. I'll show everybody the real me in a second. We'll do the virtual background, do none. This is what I'm really working with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool though. It's usually pretty cold down here. Actually, I'm gonna turn off the heater because sometimes it crashes my computer. It blows the fuse if I have the heater on while we're streaming. That could have been bad. But dude, holy crap, we have 122 people in here. Holy bejesus. Cleanup, how have you been today, man?
Oh, feeling good. Really happy to have Stag Alliance on. It's definitely a project like I'm for sure gonna mint, looking into. What I read some of your guys' like ideas and stuff like that. Really excited to see where it goes from here. I was just commenting like how everybody is so handsome in this space, and like you have me up here, some little schlub in the top right corner, and so man, I'm lucky to be surrounded by such handsome men, in the space.
You're a handsome man too.
Yeah. We're real happy to have you guys on. It's something that I've been looking forward to. Yeah, there's some scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. And so I know you were showing houses, Nick. What was that? I know you want to get into the 5 giveaways, so like we'll get into that.
What do you mean I was showing houses?
You were showing your house. Like, was that stressful for you? Because it's random, right? So for people who don't know or haven't owned a house or like been inside a house that they're trying to sell, like you have to stage that shit, and people can come in at random times at like 2 p.m. and you basically got to break out, like no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that was rough because I would be, trying to schedule people to come onto the podcast, and then out of nowhere, my parents would just be like, "Hey, we have somebody coming in like 2 hours," and I would just be like, "Okay," and I would have to like, hurry up real quick and like do everything, or like rush a podcast or do a podcast an hour later or whatever it was. So it was just like, not fun, obviously, but that's all in the past now. Thank God. We moved out all in a day. Luckily, the people up at the lake that we're staying at are like really, really chill. They came over, they helped us unpack everything. So, it was just like a really nice, warm welcome. But yeah, I'm actually, let's go into like what's a quick introduction to somebody who maybe doesn't know about Stag Alliance.
Do you want to go for that one, Ash, or should I?
Oh, if you want to go for that one.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
I'll add on to it.
interestingly, the project's developed a lot and it keeps on developing. So what we are seems to sort of evolve every time we do a new space. But well, in this sense, because you're the first one we've done in well, it must be a good 2-3 weeks. But really, what we are is a fantasy world where, driven by narratives, we're creating digital experiences. And I guess the very long story short, the summary would be that we're creating a fantasy world that people love to be engaged in all across the net. So that's everything from our Discord right through to the gamified platform we're going to build, and where people can relate to the characters, relate to the creatures and all of these fantasy creations, and enjoy collecting the NFTs that are associated with them.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got quite a lot of different moving parts. Obviously started off as just one thing, just the artwork, and then grew on top of that the story, and then the podcast. So, and now there's quite a lot of moving parts going on. So, recently made like an infographic to kind of summarize everything that we're doing, and I sent you that, early on, so we can go through that kind of together, which helps us really to break down each individual point, because we've got a really great vision paper to explain everything, but it's quite a lot for the casual reader to grasp everything. So broken it down into parts. So that'd be great to kind of explain each kind of bits of our ecosystem in a nutshell with you guys when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jimmy captured it. Yeah, the fantasy world that we just want people to be really engaged and immersed in.
Yeah, I'll bring up that that infographic, and let's see.
So there's two kind of infographics, because one of them is just kind of the headline, I guess, of each of our kind of areas, and the other kind of drills down some more points. Because I did initially make the kind of the second one, but then I felt I need to simplify it again, just to have that quick view, really quick view, and then you can immerse yourself in the vision paper if you want to, learn more about everything.
Yeah, we can go over this. So that was kind of like, a little quick introduction. We'll definitely get more into details on that, but I think that's enough time that we gave for everybody to put in their Discord names and all that. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick the first 5. I am losing my screen. I apologize for the blinding white light.
Now keep in mind, guys, if you don't necessarily win this particular time, there's 2 other batches of 5 giveaways, right, that we're doing like throughout the entire podcast. So just because you don't win this time does not mean you won't win in the future. So also shout out to the one only True OG in the chat. What's up? Love you, my guy. Okay.
Yeah,
What's
100%. J-Hub's the homie. So yeah, guys, if you came a little bit late, what we're doing is we're doing a giveaway right now. We are giving away 5 whitelist spots to Stag Alliance's Mint. And we're going to be doing, you need to type your Discord name into the chat. So we're going to go ahead and pick 5. It does one at a time. So let's just jump right into it. First winner is Giraldi SP. All right, now how am I going to find this comment? Oh, man, I need to scroll through all of these, don't I? Is there a finder? Control F.
Yeah, just control F that baby.
Oh, there we go. That worked perfectly. All right, cool.
It is.
Cool. So now I'm going to, man, I should have had a pen ready for this. Whoops. All right.
What's up, Crypto Slasher? So, so you would say the project with Stag Alliance, you would say is mostly it's obviously art based, because the art base looks pretty badass, I must say. But then on top of that, a lore building. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the lore is just as much, if not more, important than the art, because that kind of is what expands it further than what it is.
Yeah.
So
Although
they're
it's
both really, really important part.
Yeah, it's probably worth sort of emphasizing as well that lore is kind of a term that the CNFT space and NFT space has jumped onto, but that's why we're kind of using the word world building and building a fantasy world now to make sure people understand that it's much more than a lore, much more than a Genesis story, but it's going to be a whole world of characters, creatures, places, legends and myths, so that if someone wants to dive really deep into it and feel like they're immersed in a world, it will go way beyond the Genesis stories.
Gotcha. That's cool. Just for anybody who's just joined or whatever, because I know people join all the time randomly and they might not have heard. So we're giving away 5 right now, whitelist spots. We're through 2 right now, so we have 3 more to go, and then we're going to give away a total of 10 more in 5 spot increments. So this is number 3 right here. Good luck to everybody. I noticed something with your portal passes. The floor on those are absolutely crazy, and so
I know, right? It's
with the portal passes. With the portal passes,
sorry, go.
I think I read they get 5 total NFTs.
Right.
Or what
Okay.
is it?
So they get kind of whitelisted for 5 if it's a green, and 8 if it's a magenta. But then they also get a free kind of airdrop after the mint. So there's another 200. So it's a 7,500 collection, but 7,300 are what's going to be minted. 7,200 because there's 100 for team and kind of reserved for post mint marketing kind of giveaways, that kind of thing. And then 200 are airdropped then to these portal holders, and within that 200 there's a bunch of the special royals. We'll talk about them later, and then a bunch of other the cool kind of rare ones as well. So having these, as long as you hold the portal after the mint as well, then you'll get that free super cool kind of NFT as well. So, and that's just kind of what's happening around kind of the mint time and before the mint time. But because they're our very first NFT, and they are the center of our story as well, where kind of the Stag Alliance origin story began, they'll always be valuable to us. So they're always going to play a part. They're not like a ticket as such, and that's it. So I think and you can't really comment on the price obviously, because that's the community decides. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's obviously good to see.
Now, do you guys, okay, so as like a founder of a project, I know some consider the floor price. Are you type of people that like are just like, it is what it is, who cares, like we know what we're doing, like it is what it is?
I mean, it's a bit of both really. No one can say that they don't look at what their project floor price is and care if it suddenly decreases a lot or goes up a lot. You're obviously going to think something either way, but we don't let that be our number one benchmark of success. We just do what we do, and hopefully that reflects on the price. But at the end of the day, it's up to the community how they value it with what we kind of offer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly say this is it's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. So
Yeah.
it's not finding them exactly when I'm searching for them. So I apologize, but I'll be with you guys momentarily.
It's okay. Allow me to carry just for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's fine. Again, like I said, I'm sorry to repeat this. You know, as somebody who's like kind of ran a project or like whatever, I know you have to
Yeah.
repeat this time and time again. For people who just joined, okay, we're giving away 5 whitelist spots right now. I feel like that was the 5th one, right? Correct?
No, this is the 4th one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we got one more spot as of right now. Okay, but we are drawing more spots, 10 in total here throughout the podcast. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you drop your Discord with the hashtag and the numbers following it in the chat, and then you're going to be entered. Sounds good. And then so, yeah. So how you guys may have covered this. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to answer these questions multiple times, so just get used to it.
It's fine.
How long have you guys been in the Cardano space?
So for me, it was August or September of 21. So when it kind of all got going on CNFT.io, you know, when it all just was kicking off there, it was a good time, you know, to be in. Things didn't, you know, work everywhere all the time because it was so fresh, but it was, you know, just really fun because it was really new for everybody, really. So first mint was a Politicos, and they did kind of like staged mints, and I got a couple of those. Can't remember what my second one was, but it was hard to find projects that were minting. I remember looking on the official Cardano website, kind of the developers area or something, where it actually shows NFT projects, and I was just like, open a new tab one on all of them just to see if they had sold out or not, just to kind of find one. And then from there, that's where I found the Discord communities and the Twitter kind of communities, because I didn't know all that existed. And then just went from there, and I tried, like most people, most of the mints, like can't remember what it was now, Yummy or Yumi, I'm not sure which way we pronounce it, but staying up late, trying to get kind of what you can. And so I've been started off as a community member, like everyone else, and favorite kind of projects are Makosi, Dead Rabbits, Clay Nation. Clay Nation hoodie bought this one when they was going. I did have a Clay, but I don't have it anymore, regretfully. I didn't mint Clay, but it was kind of like the day after, and like got a really cool green one for what's now a ridiculously low price. But that one's gone, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. But just love it being a collector, a member of all these communities.
For me, it was.
And Jimmy, kind of, I'll let you talk for yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, Cardano itself, I was first exposed to Cardano in the 2018-19 bear market, but obviously the CNFT space wasn't quite a thing then. And I've just been following crypto movements in general since 2016-17. And as Ash got more and more involved in the CNFT space, he kind of kept sort of talking about it with me, and we did a few little things together. Like we won the Artifact Moon Easter egg hunt, little things like that, and then all of a sudden we were working on a project together.
Yeah, that was really cool. Do you know the Artifact marketplace? And they've got the moon kind of land plots. So they released a paper with some I noticed some like words that were a bit off in it, and I thought this isn't a mistake, and we put it together, and we found out it was a treasure hunt, and we just spent like 3 days figuring it out together, following these kind of clues here and there, and we were the first to get to this wallet and unlock some, the idea inside the wallet. So that was really fun kind of experience together. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just had Her Monsters on the other day too, and they were doing, the kind of like their treasure hunt versions of all the things that you have to do on their website to find the letters, to then, find like the hidden stuff like that. Do you guys have any, hidden stuff of your own?
well, if we said that, then
I
wouldn't be
guess so.
hidden,
That's
but
true.
but no,
It's,
I don't want to say that and have someone waste hours looking. So there isn't anything like hidden before anyone wastes their time.
I mean,
There
has been. We had a collab on our map.
oh yeah,
there are
yeah,
little things,
simple,
but that one's passed now, so we wouldn't want people to go on there. But put it this way, there will definitely be a lot of interactivity on our website, and there will certainly be exciting things to find. So if you ever do want to go and explore the map, you might get there before everyone else, because the moment we drop the clue on Discord, then everyone's looking for it. So it depends on how people want to go about that. But I saw your show with Her Monsters, and I thought it was really cool having like the hidden panel on the car door and things like that. That's the kind of thing we really sort of aspire to. It's a very cool way of sort of mixing up the whole, we've got communities on Discord, Twitter, and we've got like our website as a platform. And I think Her Monsters have done a great job of mixing that interactivity to make it sort of like a whole engaging space. And I feel like that's what a lot of NFT projects that do well, they're doing that well. They are keeping people engaged in many different ways, whether it's a poker tournament or it's an Easter egg on the website. People are excited by it. People are sort of moved and engaged by it. And that is valuable in itself, because entertainment is kind of one of the most valuable commodities in the world. Engagement, screen time, these things, they're all capturing value in many ways. So yeah, it was really cool to see how Her Monsters have done that.
Yeah, Her Monsters was really cool. But quickly, just wanted to say, Speed wins. Thank you for the $2. I know you sent it a while ago, but it was during me trying to find all the names, so I appreciate you. And if anybody does have comments, I do welcome the comments or the questions. It is really hard to keep up with right now. You guys can stop spamming your names. I'm not picking winners for like another hour, so or probably 30, 45 minutes. So everybody just kind of chill on that end. I'll let you know when we do that again. But yeah, thank you, Cleanup, for kind of handling that while I had to go sift through all of these people's Discord names. But
now,
yeah.
So hold on. So, sorry. So every single time, do we announce like the giveaway, right? Do they then have to re-enter?
I'm assuming they're going to have to re-enter, because I don't think it picks like from 20 minutes ago. I think it has a range of like 5 to 10 minutes that it picks the comments from. But I'm not actually 100% on that. So trust me, guys, I'll just let you guys know when I'm doing it again. Stop spamming. It also knows if you've done duplicates, so you're just wasting your time. Please stop.
It's not like entries. You just enter it once, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this one's there. I get it.
Yeah.
So we had a question. We had a question in there before that one, actually.
Oh, okay.
We can get into this one, but they also want to know why you guys chose Stags as well.
Okay, so which one? The Stags one?
The Stags one. I'll bring this one up again.
So the Stags one is kind of part and parcel with why I wanted to make a project in the first place as well, and which is really came out of a long time, since even before being in Cardano, a long time of wanting to create something, of my own outside, because, I'm a graphic designer, really creative kind of person, but, always doing kind of client kind of work, which is kind of like fulfilling somebody else's kind of vision, their kind of their business, their dream, whatever. And I've always wanted to make something that, you know, my passion kind of project to put all my energy in, but it's hard to do that without a proper focus, because it's all just, you just don't know what you're doing. You feel like you're, I don't know, not wasting your time, but just need really a focus, really. And after being in Cardano for a while, it just clicked that this kind of area is everything that I love to do. So it was, you know, a light bulb moment, I guess, that, you know, this is it. You know, I'm going to go all in with something, and I didn't know what to create at first. I didn't just want to create anything for the sake of it, but and that's kind of built on as time went on. But the kind of stags and the deer came from me looking back through my own personal illustration kind of portfolio. I'm not really illustration isn't my kind of forte. It's not what I do day to day. I'm like an all-round kind of designer. But anyway, looking back at my illustrations, I'd already kind of drawn these kind of stag figures, and it looked like an NFT already. And when I drew it years ago, I didn't draw it because I was trying to make an NFT. I drew it for the art. So I took that and completely redrew it, repurposed what I'd done to make it more suitable. You know, deconstructed it so I could make layerable sections that could be stacked to make an NFT. So that's kind of where the stack kind of came from, but then the whole world around it developed in time. But I guess that's a long answer to a short question, but yeah, that's the honest answer.
Are stags, would you say that's like your spirit animal?
Maybe, yeah. That's fair.
It's got to be his fate, isn't it? But yeah, from a more conceptual artistic perspective as well, the stag has a lot of positive, strong connotations. The form's very strong. They look really good.
Yeah.
I'd also like to call Ash out. He said he's not an illustrator. He's clearly an excellent illustrator. Look at his art. He was just being too modest. You might not have started an illustrator. You said you're not you are an illustrator, a very good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like your work looks really well done. That's like, you know, I know a lot of people, including myself, like I make rap music, but I wouldn't call myself a rapper. But like at some point you do it enough, you become good enough, like at some point you are. You know what I mean? I'm not calling myself a rapper.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You know, you're
I
definitely
remember
an artist.
listening to your videos. You have it on the outro, don't you, of your videos? And it was after a few in, I was like, this outro sounds really like you. And I expect that it is you.
Yeah, when I first started, there was an intro too, but I was starting to look at the algorithm and thinking about like what would I want out of a video, and I just kind of want like if it says like, hey, you know, video with Stag Alliance, like I want to jump right into Stag Alliance. I don't want to see no intro video. I want to see, you know. So I was like, all right, let me kind of like cater towards the small attention spans that we all have.
So do you do a live rap at the end of every podcast then?
Oh God, no! Don't put that on me. We are not doing that. That is not this is not Sway in the morning. You know what I'm saying? This is Lucky Ocean podcast. No, you're good.
So back in the day, I don't know if you're old enough, but Sway had Sway in the Tech morning show. Did you listen to that at all or no?
I didn't hear any of that.
It was based in Detroit and stuff. No, Nick. Oh man, this was crazy. So this was my intro to Eminem, right? Who, for me, to be quite honest with you, the rap game at the time was kind of bad. It was in a bad spot, right? And then Eminem came along and it was like something fresh, something new, came from this white dude that nobody was expecting, and it just blew up, right? Now, I mean, I hate to say this or whatever, I don't necessarily like Eminem. I think it's like kind of cringe, you know what I'm saying? His first two albums, awesome, phenomenal. Everything after that has kind of lost me, okay? Yeah, I don't care what you say. It's really it's kind of cringe like to listen to him. But anyway, so when he was coming up before he got like just started with Dre, or maybe even right before, he went on there and he did basically, 2 hours straight of just straight freestyling, rapping and stuff like that. And then that's how Dre heard about him, was through Sway and Tech in the morning show. And man, somebody mentioned EPMD. Love EPMD. Love it. That's old school, like hip hop shit. I love that. They got this one song, Symphony 2000 or something like that. That shit is like flawless. It has this nice little violin part in there. But yeah, so you wouldn't think I listen to a lot of hip hop rap, but I actually do. Nick, I'm still waiting on that album drop,
Man, I have so many unwritten songs, and I've been showing them in the Discord a little bit. So if anybody wants to go sift through there or just hit me up, I'll send them. I love showing people my music because I like to hear what they got to say. But yeah, I'm not even gonna defend Eminem. He doesn't need a keyboard warrior. All right, that dude spits straight fire. If you want to say he had a bad album here or there, okay. But like, that's all we're gonna say about it. That's all we're gonna say about it because Mitch Lipio, he said, after the mint, what is the first thing that Stag will be building to the Cardano community?
You or me, Ash?
The Enter the Portal event, so I think is what we'll talk about. Is that where you was going?
Yeah, I'm thinking Enter the Portal, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to.
Sure, yeah. So I guess, first of all, probably worth noting that we're going to have a lot of releases of various things because we're world building. So we've got concept art coming out regularly now. Our first concept art of The Chosen One came out last week. I don't know if we can show that now or not, but hopefully enough of the community have seen it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Cool. And then if you call that a release, then fine, we're going to have plenty of small iterative releases of world building. But the major sort of first milestone is the Enter the Portal event. And that will be a series of events where certain pass holders for each event and certain stags will get access to an adventure in the Elder World. The Elder World is the name of the fantasy universe we're creating, because obviously you can't call it the Stag Alliance universe. It wouldn't quite work. We need something that's nice and broadly appealing to people who love fantasy. And so through an interactive web experience, they're selected each month or each time period we choose. They will go through the portal with a mad sorceress and embark on an adventure in the Elder World. And if you're trying to picture that, try sort of picture a gamified web experience, but not a 3D MMORPG with, all those features. This is going to be much more reduced and more like a story-based web experience. And during that adventure, the pass holders will gain a legendary item from the Elder World, and the stags will have a chance to gain a legendary item, but they will also get a useful item, provided they overcome the challenge in the Elder World. But we're not going to make it so challenging that no one gets through. It's a nice little adventure and a taste of the kinds of things we want to create. These Enter the Portal events are going to be little snippets of that, and they'll be related to stories in the Elder World, starting to build the world up. So Enter the Portal events will be the first things we're launching, and they'll run sort of consecutively on a set time span. We've got roughly monthly in mind, but that could change. And these items that people will collect in their adventure in the Elder World, they'll be able to take back and use in our Moonstone game alpha release. The alpha release is going to be closed to only pass holders and stag holders. And so those items will be kind of like the booster pack to begin your adventure and journey in the Moonstone game alpha. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
I'd say like the Enter the Portal event is kind of like a stepping stone towards our, gamification platform alpha release, so that we don't have a a massive lull between releasing our NFTs and the products we want to build. We want to build something in between that's actually part of what we're going to be building, but it's not so development heavy, complex that we have to wait forever. So this is a really good way of keeping people engaged in a really fun way, and it's relevant to our story as well. And there is a whole article on this that released last Friday, but the way it kind of will work is we don't know the exact time scales of when one is and the next one, but let's just say each month for now, there will be certain portals chosen, and every portal is numbered 1 to 300. So let's say 1 month portal number 10 and number 178 get picked. Then the owners of those portals will be kind of the gatekeepers, where stags that in the metadata of the stags, they all have a portal number assigned to them. So if you look at a stag that you own, you'll be able to see in the metadata what portal it came through. So say in month 1, portal 50 was chosen, then any stag that has portal 50 in its metadata can take part in this kind of mini game. So we'll be having enough kind of events so that everyone can take part at least once, and this is going to bridge the gap between our large plans and mint day.
Now, did those portals line up with the portal numbers of the portal passes?
Yeah, precisely. Okay. So if you've got portal pass number 2, then if portal pass number 2 gets picked, then that's you. And if you own that portal pass, then you're guaranteed a good item, a legendary item. If you just have a stag that's assigned to that portal pass, then you'll get something, but it's not guaranteed to be.
Will the stags legendary line up with those passes in any way? Like, let's say cleanup holds number 2, and I have a stag that has the portal pass or the portal number 2. Are me and him like brothers in some way?
Yeah, so there's a connection in that sense. You might own a portal and want to collect the stags that are associated with your portal, but that's just a small collection kind of idea.
Okay, so there won't be any like bonuses or multipliers or anything like that?
So when it comes to kind of the larger kind of gamification side, there are things that are going to have bonuses and multipliers, but we can't give precise details on that just yet. Okay. With the end of the portal event, let's say you had portal 2 and a stag that came from portal 2. You're saying is there like a multiplier if you have both?
Right, or any sort of bonus at all.
Yeah. We haven't got that planned, I don't think, have we, Jimmy? So no, I would say yes on this call.
The bonus I would say is that the portals that get chosen for the event, if your stag is related to that portal, if your stag went through that portal, your bonus is you can go into the Elder World with that portal. All other stags won't be able to. And so each Enter the Portal event will take you to a different part of the Elder World, and it will have a different exposure to different characters and stories within the Elder World. So it will be kind of luck, which story you get exposed to and which items you get when you come back, because the items relate to the story in the Elder World. But the bonus essentially, or the connection, is the stag is related to that portal, and that portal is literally the portal to the Elder World.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, I was wondering too, how many people do you have on your team? Is it mainly just you two?
So we're kind of like the core kind of founders. We do have like a team that are kind of like not contractors, but we have like a wider network of people with different skills that are within our team, but they're not like Stag Alliance, and that's all they do, that kind of thing. It's kind of like a pool of suppliers. So we've got a new concept artist that works for us. That if you scroll up slightly on the Discord, that one there. So that wasn't done by me. That was done by a concept artist onboarded. We've got developers. We've got machine learning. There's also a developer. Got all of obviously our team of moderators, which are extremely thankful for all the work they do. Jimmy, anyone else I've missed?
We've got the voice artist who records the
Oh yeah, voice artist. Yeah,
a network of say editors and people who will help us get the work to publishing quality when we start publishing on Amazon. And engaged with us now. I think that would be Asher's given the list. Although we've got a very strong partner network on standby, essentially ready for when we take the project to the next stages. It's one of the reasons we've taken a while to mint. It's no secret we've not rushed into minting. People have been waiting a really long time, and we appreciate that a lot. But we didn't want to mint and then go, what do we do now? We wanted everything set up and ready to go. And one of the biggest challenges is, building the structures, the partner network, the potential recruits, making sure you've got all the resources in place ready to go from the moment you mint. Otherwise, you can find yourself in a serious scramble. So we've been taking a lot of time to do that. Our partner network extends to lawyers, accountants. We're making sure everything is done extremely well. And that has taken time, but we're almost there now. We can confidently say we're almost there, which is nice.
And between me and Jimmy, we have a lot of skills anyway, kind of between us in-house. Obviously our challenge is time with our combined skills, but between us, we've got such a varied amount of relevant skills that we can bring, a lot of what we need to the table ourselves, which is really useful.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was yours, Ashley. I think it was your team profile I was looking at. You said that you had worked with other blue chips. Was that blue chip NFT projects, or was that like blue chip companies?
That was my kind of graphic design career, like blue chip companies across the world. Yeah, I believe that's the part you're right. I haven't worked with any other kind of blue chip NFT projects. I mean, I've done the old fan art when I was a community. Well, I still am a community member, but I've made some like animated chilled Kongs, and the community kind of love them. So I still love playing around doing that kind of thing. But obviously now all my time's on Stag Alliance.
Gotcha. You have anything to say, clean up? I feel like I'm holding you hostage over there.
No. So somebody donated 20 to you earlier. So scroll up on that. Don't forget to say, give them a shout out.
Appreciate
so
that.
you did the chill Kongs. It was the Kong in the grass, right? And then there was another one, right? In the car.
Oh no, not that. It was a completely fan art kind of thing. It wasn't official.
Oh, okay.
So I was just trying to connect the blue chip side, but I haven't officially done any work for any of the.
Oh, okay.
Blue chip.
I gotcha.
Okay.
It's arguable that working with the world's blue chips is a pretty recognizable level of professionalism. So.
Yeah, do you hold Kongs?
No, I don't hold Kongs. No.
Don't hold Kongs. Okay.
Just a fan of the art. Because I
Sorry,
saw that I said just a fan of the art, because I know that you were saying that you were making like, your own art versions of Kongs and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, I did have Kongs, and I kind of broke apart the NFT and animated them so that they're kind of, there's one of them whistling, and I made them kind of whistle with music coming out of their mouth, and and bobbing up and down to the beat. It was really cool to play on. That's what I did before I started my NFT project. I was just trying to get involved in the community in some ways, trying to just show what I can do, and then like, I can build my own project and use my skills in this way.
Yeah, I know at some point somebody's going to ask, but first up, Ilias, thank you so much, man, for the $20. That really does help out. In all honesty, from ad revenue, I made like $20 a month from ad revenue. So you just like doubled my month. I love you. Thank you so much. 10x, y'all guys really want to be part of it. Hop to win, 100%. I'm pretty bullish on this project myself, but yeah, I was gonna ask, do you guys know when you're going to mint yet? Because if I don't ask it, 20 million other people in the chat are gonna spam it.
So we said Q1 this year, and it's definitely going to be Q1. We don't have an exact mint date yet, but we have a region in mind where it's highly likely to be, but I really don't want to say it in case of an unforeseen. But I do get that people want to know, even if it's not a day that they want it to be, they still want to know when it is, just so they know. So yeah, but we can't say that until we know for sure, because I just can't be the one to say, sorry, it's actually going to be a week later or a week later than that. So for me personally, it has to be 100% locked in.
Yeah, no, that's all good. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh dang, it's this day. I think people are just gonna be like, oh, looks like I'm taking work off. I'll just happen to be sick this day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taken extended bathroom breaks to mint projects. So the coolest thing about Cardano, from what I understand in the community, is that we become very resilient and creative on how to mint projects. And so, especially the ones that we like, so we make things happen. Like, so I went into a kid called Beast or whatever, and literally I am never late to work. Like I'm just never late to work. But it just so happens that on a random Thursday, they were trying to mint at like 4 p.m. Well, I have to work at 2. And so I had to switch on and off a couple days, like, or whatever, to mint. It just so happens that it was not the mint didn't happen. So I was like, I missed this time at work to do this. But, then the next time I brought my laptop to work and connected to the guest Wi-Fi, which is really crappy.
Yeah, you should not do that. People are going to find out where you live and steal all your stuff. They're going to find out where you work.
Bro, do not do that. Don't ever do that, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but I had to admit, we all get that FOMO and shit. So, yeah. So people will find a creative way. The thing is, come out with it whenever you want to, whenever you feel like it's ready and everything is aligned, and like, that'll be great.
Yeah.
We'll find a way.
After it happens and it's minted, then, people will kind of forget they had to wait an extra couple of weeks or something. Personally, when you look back at releases, when you have video games that are released in like 4 years and then they delay it by another 2 years, you're like, oh no, like at the time. But then after those 2 years, when you're playing it, you kind of forgot that you had to wait so long.
I would much rather have y'all like waiting and then, ready to go, instead of like, hey, we're going to mint a project. And 5 months later, you're like, all right, we just finished this other thing. Now you can mint this. And then like 6 months later, it's like, all right, we just finished this part. Now you can mint this. It's like, nah, we'll just mint now. And then a month later or 2 weeks later, we'll be ready. And then another 2 weeks later, we'll be ready. I think that's kind of like the Boss Cat, Rocket Club approach. They had a bunch of things ready. They just kind of shot out a bunch of things all at once. The hype continued forever. And I think that's what is doing well for OTK right now too. They had their first mint, did well. Then they did their crests mint, went really well. Then they did the Jar of Dirts, went really well. And pretty soon we'll probably have the ships and the pirates, and I'm assuming it's going to continue to keep doing pretty well. So, no, I think as long as you have an idea and you're building, like, it's completely fine to take your time. And if not anything, like, I think it's welcomed. But also, Stelline, I've been seeing you spamming your question, and I actually appreciate it. I'm not mad about it because it helps me see it. But I'm finally getting to it. Got a question. as we know, you guys are really the future of Cardano. How the future of Cardano will evolve on the project for long term, that's my Discord. Gotcha. So I think he's asking how the future of Cardano will evolve with your project. I think he's saying, like, how do you see that happening?
So
yeah. So
do you want to go for it, Ash?
yeah, I'll say my part that your answer is probably better than mine. But I mean, with all kind of new kind of technologies, obviously they're really exciting because, you know, they're new, things haven't been done before, and that's, you know, one of the really exciting parts of what we're developing. But, you know, as new features and scalability comes in, then we will look to, you know, work with those new features. But obviously we only want to play with what's stable and known at the moment for our own reassurance and to mitigate any kind of mistakes. But yeah, I think that's the exciting part, is growing with the technology that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I'd say one thing sort of a lot of people recognize about Cardano is their rigorous approach to development. You know, a lot of people criticize Cardano because, say, for instance, in the 2018-19 bear, people were saying, oh, Cardano doesn't even have smart contracts, why would you bother? And then later we get smart contracts, and then, you know, people are talking about things like sharding and increasing transaction speeds and whatnot, and before you know it, we'll have Hydra heads, and things will keep developing on Cardano. And for what we want to do at the moment with collectability, you know, all of that infrastructure is already there. The CNFT space is already thriving for collectibles. We're good to go. And then as the features of Cardano develop, so for instance, transaction speeds and reduced transaction fees and whatnot, we can look at bringing more of our unified platform on chain, because we want to make the most of what blockchain can do for gaming and the new senses of ownerships and new economies and things like that. And we're quite confident that as our platform develops, as our world builds, as our user base grows, so will the features on Cardano. So they should develop quite nicely together.
Yeah, I appreciate that response. I think, you know, that's kind of all you can really say too, because nothing is really out yet. Like, it's going to improve, therefore we can improve, we can make things faster, therefore it's going to get faster. You know, on your end, you're kind of just waiting for Cardano to build out the rest of its infrastructure before you can really do anything. So, you know, it's kind of Cardano that's the bottleneck here, but it's so much further along than it was before. Like you said, we didn't even have smart contracts, and now none of the haters can really say anything about smart contracts other than, yes, they're a little bit slower than other blockchains. That's true, and we do need to work on that. But that's what's supposed to be working on or getting worked on this year. So a lot of the complaints that people have, we're actively working on those. So I think that's a great, you know, strength to our chain as well, is that we know our weaknesses and we're working on it. So yeah. Something else I wanted to ask too. Sorry about that. What were you gonna say?
I was just agreeing with you. I think a lot of people underestimate the work that goes into a tech rollout, and especially a blockchain-based tech rollout. And so when things are done slowly, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And, you know, there are 25,000 projects competing with each other at the moment, different layer 1s, 2s, 3s these days, and the whole space is chaotic in many senses. And so you kind of need to choose a solution that seems to be as stable as possible and with the minimum necessary features. And I feel like Cardano ticks those boxes for the NFT space. So we're happy to be using it.
Awesome. Now, I wanted to touch on the portal pass too. I saw a question in here, so I'm going to bring up JPEG Store and show the portal passes. But can you kind of tell us?
I'm telling you this right now. It's at a lot of people's price range right now.
Yeah, they're very expensive. Yeah, they're
absolutely
they're killing it. But these portal passes are completely minted out, right? There's only going to ever be 301 of these.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty sure that the policy is locked as well this month. I need to double check that, but I'm quite sure it locks fairly soon. So yeah, they are already minted out, and there are just over 100 still in the dev wallet, if you can call it that. So 100 are given out after the mint to help, because of these portal events. They've got use after mint, so we're keeping some to go out after mint as well. So there's 200 that are going to be publicly out there before the mint day.
And if you hold these after mint, you're airdropped some of the other stags that are going to be left over, and it says that it's going to increase your chances of getting a rare one. So do you have these stags already in a wallet kind of waiting to be sent out to those passes later, or will it just be left over of whatever doesn't get minted, and then you'll somehow figure out the rarities?
So the ones that are going over to the portal pass holders are already defined which ones they're going to be, and that includes a portion of the royals, which are kind of like our one of ones. And then after the one of, so in terms of rarity, we've got the chosen one, which is kind of like the main character. That's like the rarest. Then we've got the royals. There's 20 of them. Then we've got some kind of hand-picked kind of best kind of in class kind of NFTs in the collection that come after, you know, the rare kind of traits and the handmade kind of combinations. And there's over 100 to 200 of those kind of hand assembled, and then it goes on to, you know, the generated kind of layered artwork. So in the 200 that go out, it's going to be some of the royals, a large bunch of the handmade, but it's not going to be all of those, because, you know, anybody else minting this will want to have a chance of, you know, getting, you know, a rarer kind of stag. So there's still plenty of chances in, you know, in different minting phases to get, you know, a good rare NFT. So it's just trying to balance being fair to everybody, being fair to those that, you know, might have paid these high prices. Even though we gave these out for free, I still very much respect that people have paid for these. So just trying to be fair and balanced kind of across the board, whilst, you know, staying true to our plan.
Just as a recap, everybody, they did confirm that the mint is still going to be Q1, right? So sometime within the next, let's say, month, right? And you'll probably have like a confirmed mint date soon, I would imagine, you know, whatever soon means. It could be in like 3 weeks, but you know what I mean? So yeah, so there's no like confirmed mint date, but it is Q1. They're still in Q1. They're just waiting. They're making sure all the ducks are in a row. So you guys are minting with JPG store.
Correct? Yeah, we're on their Launchpad platform program. Sorry.
Okay, and so somebody was asking, and this is kind of the way I feel about mints, is that the easiest way to do mints now to make sure that, you know, it's not botted and everything like that for the most part. I mean, public is public. You know what I'm saying? Public mint's public mint. It's like a total degen circus there. But for the most part, having a lot of these projects being like, let's say 90% whitelist, and then, you know, 5% or 10% for promotion or whatever it may be, seems to be like a pretty decent way to avoid that. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Is your mint going to be a lot of the whitelist and then only certain amounts of public, or what's the breakup look like as far as that goes?
Yeah, so originally released, it was 60% whitelist, 40% public, and then we changed that more recently because it is changing, isn't it? The way mints are going now, they are all changing, especially mints that have higher demand. They are going that way, and it's becoming a lot different now than what it used to be. So we changed it again and we don't like to change things. We like to say what we say and then try our best to stick with it. But at the same time, if it's changing it for the better, then we will change it for the better. So we changed it to 80% whitelist, 20% public. But then obviously, even since then, there have been more heavily targeted bot attacks. So we're not ruling out another review, but as it stands, it is 80-20. But we will do what's right for our mint to protect it. So yeah, we're very much aware of what's going on, and we will do what we believe is right.
I think people are just a little nervous because of the Porky mint recently. It was subject to a bot, and then they were using JPEG Store, and JPEG Store had to delay it. So I think that's why people are just kind of like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
Do you think? And I know you kind of have to be politically correct here, but do you think you're going to continue to use JPEG Store and that they'll be able to handle it, or do you have to maybe pivot?
I still have full confidence in JPEG Store. So I would say that JPEG Store have come under these attacks, and so have other other providers have had similar issues, and those that haven't, what's to say that if we move to them that they won't then become targeted in the same way? And until it happens, it's really difficult. You can't get 100% assurance with any kind of provider, I don't think. So I don't necessarily think that changing is the only way to resolve it all. But I do have 100% confidence, and in a way, because they've had this happen to them, they have the data, the analysis of what happened themselves to prevent, or at least take measures to prevent the same thing happen, whereas others don't have that data to back on and change based on that, if that makes sense. But no matter what we do, there are risks, and we are working out the best ways to mitigate those risks. It's kind of not a nice situation to have, but at all. But we like to be in high demand, but we don't like it to panic everyone. And so obviously these kind of things we don't want to be spending our time doing so much because it takes away from other work. But yeah, we're well aware of what's happening.
So people ask, could you still earn a portal? I don't believe, right?
They've all been distributed, right? Other than the ones that you're saving.
Right.
So I think there's 3 or 4 left to go out. So there is a very small chance of a few of them to go out.
There's a small chance. I will also say that
Melon just popped in. He says JPEG got botted last time, but it's not going to happen again. Last time it occurred, it was because our dev was on an airplane and the rest of the team didn't know what to do. So, I will say that hopefully, it's not all landing on one guy, but I do know that in a lot of small companies that are building, I know that it does work that way. So I'm not going to criticize, but, I'm just saying I do hope in the future that this gets expanded beyond one person, but that's good to know.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I've been here since the freaking beginning of these things on NFTs. You have no idea what minting was like at the beginning. It was ass. Okay. Like, yes, JPEG Store might have problem, like NFT Maker.pro might have their problems. This is like nothing before. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to, I did a Google Docs fucking mint. You know what I'm saying? Like people have no idea what it was like pre smart contract, pre like actual minting services. By this time next year, we won't be talking about anything. It'll just be smooth as butter. I know JPEG kind of looked at it and like, you know, as far as I know, they're doing well. They're going to handle you guys, right? And they're also going to handle the chilled cons. So they have like pretty big men's coming up, you know, and I feel like they're focused on it. So yeah, I mean, give it a whirl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Goombi, you are absolutely right. We are about to start the next 5 whitelist giveaway. So again, I'm probably going to have cleanup help me carry the conversation a little bit while I find your guys' names. But yeah, go ahead, recommence, even though some of you never stopped, entering in your Discord names. Remember, you do need to be subscribed. It takes a full minute after you subscribe, then you'll be able to chat. The chat is on a 10-second timer, so you can chat every 10 seconds. Spam away your Discord name. I'm going to be picking winners as we try to continue talking throughout this mayhem.
Also, don't post, I really want to win this, and then your Discord, just spam your damn Discord name. You only have to put it in once, okay? But just spam the name. Don't be like, truly blessed if I get this. Here's my Discord
you
ID.
hating on the blessed people. I see.
I love blessed people. I feel blessed myself. I'm here with, you know, cool guys in the space. We're having good chat. You know, everything's good. But yeah, just post the Discord IDs. That's it. So, oh my God, I'm getting a call. Shut that down real quick. Anyway, so are there any projects that you guys were really like looking at, maybe partnerships with, other things like that? Anything like you kind of looked into, or you just kind of brave this on your own, you know?
So at the moment, we're quite focused on, you know, just getting everything ready internally. But I think that what makes this kind of space do so well is how all the projects are more than happy to work with each other, and you know, don't see each other as competitors like they would in, you know, in other industries. You know, maybe to a degree there's competition, but I think working together can help both way more than going, you know, against each other. So with our kind of gamified platform, it will be, you know, our gamified platform, but to open up the kind of technologies available to us, you can have, and this is one of the cool things, you can have a character from a different game come into our game, because, you know, just allowing that kind of policy in, which is something which is amazing that, you know, you can't get in other kind of technologies, standard kind of gaming. So that kind of partnerships, those ones are what the potential of those are what really excite me. But I do have many open conversations at the moment with projects on how we can interact with their kind of what they're doing, and then potentially how they can interact with what we're doing. So yeah, definitely working together is very powerful, I think.
I always ask this is like one of my favorite things. I noticed one of the traits on the Stag, I saw a bowling ball. I suck at bowling, so I don't know if I could really connect with that particular Stag. But I noticed you guys had some pretty unique traits on there, as far as like the layered and stuff like that. So are there any specific traits that you like what's your favorite trait, I would say?
So I guess because I was doing the artwork, I was biased in I'd only try and draw things that I liked. I wouldn't want to put in something that I wasn't happy with, or I wouldn't want to mint myself. So I think some of the traits that I like best Actually, let's flip them through now. My favorite traits actually haven't been revealed yet. I do like.
I think that's a hint.
Kind of.
I think that's a hint. You need to drop like a sneaky peeky, okay?
Yeah.
Of one of your favorite
I like
traits.
the. How can I drop one if I have one to hand? What's the best way of sending it to
you could send it to my Discord, and then I can post it.
Okay.
Also, Alsif, please type your Discord name again. I cannot find you anywhere. I'm going to try to do a thing to make it to where it's only the recent people. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to try. I think it is going all the way back to the beginning, so I am screwed.
Jimmy, why don't you? Have you got any favorite kind of traits whilst I look for these?
It really is a difficult one. It depends on the personality of the stag, but I really like the, and again, it's not been revealed, but some of the most recent armor for the knights. I think that looks really, really good. We revealed actually a couple of weeks ago the enchanted items, and those look really, really good. I love some of the enchanted combos. I guess I'm often drawn towards the sort of like ancient fantasy traits. But I do really love that juxtaposition of a multicolored umbrella with a stag with armor, that kind of thing. It's kind of really, I guess it captures the whole NFT movement pretty well, right? From an artistic perspective, the NFT movement is a massive juxtaposition of themes and aesthetics and cultural comments, and so seeing a knight, a stag humanoid knight, but with a blue bowling ball on their nose, it's pretty funny. It's pretty cool.
Now, okay, Nick, this is not a setup,
bro.
Okay, all right, this is not a setup, guys. Okay.
Wait, does Melon already have a whitelist? I would imagine Melon would, but hey, if you don't, now you do.
Congrats.
Okay. So obviously, you're welcome, chat. I think we're gonna get a sneak peek of a sneak peek you haven't seen before. So you're welcome for that. Look at us doing big things over here. It's possible. I cannot connect with the bowling ball. I suck at bowling. Are you guys into sports, anything like that?
Not anymore. Used to play football, skateboarding. But
wait, sorry, are you from the UK?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
But since we tied England, right? It's agreed that it's not called football for a year. It's called soccer.
I don't think
I didn't hear that.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because we tied.
We can roll with that.
Yeah.
So
you played football. Okay.
Skateboarding, I used to enjoy. Wouldn't try it again. But yeah, so I don't do many sports now. I like long distance running. But yeah, I haven't managed to go for a run in a while now. Just working on this project all the time.
Does it give you less stress, or I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a big guy, so that long distance running shit can go out the door for me. You know what I mean?
No, I do like long distance running, and it takes a while, not too long, but I went from not being able to run to after a few weeks just being able to do 5K, 10K, 20K after a few months. So as long as you kind of stick to it, it kind of builds up nicely. And I'm the sort that will run, and I won't run so much that I make myself feel sick. I'll just kind of go to my pace and enjoy the run. I'm more that kind of person. But Jimmy, have you said that about your boxing kind of
yes,
past life, or do you do it now still? I don't know.
Well, yeah, boxing's been kind of like the main sport I've been into since I was a kid, and up until last year, I was still heavily involved in it, coaching a university team. But now I am taking a year off the coaching, which has been quite nice. But yeah, boxing for me. Boxing and surfing, I would say, but I don't consider surfing a sport. I know it is a sport, but it's a hobby. It's something people do for fun. You know, it's a tranquil, nice thing to do. Not so nice in a competitive sense, in my opinion. You know.
Gotcha. So you're gonna double if you guys go out in public and go to like CNFT Con. He'll be the bodyguard as well.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
correct?
we'll make sure.
Boxing. I'm gonna tell you
budget's-
this. Like the one time I was boxing, right? So I had this friend who ended up winning like what's called gold gloves.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
And so he was a friend of mine, and I was just like, I was a cocky like 16-year-old, okay, and he was at 17 at the time, and so I thought to myself like, okay, like I'm in great shape, like I'm a big guy, like I'm 6'2", about 185 pounds at the time, like I was stacked, I was jacked, and so I was like, I'll fight him, I'll see it, it can't be too hard. Dude, this dude bopped me one time in the nose. Bloody.
Yeah.
I threw off my gloves and walked out of the ring at that point. I've never been hit so hard in my entire life.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's really,
yeah. Size definitely doesn't matter in boxing until you get to the levels that are so high that the only really thing that matters can be size. You know, when all the variables are down to just weight, then weight matters. But for an experienced boxer can go against anyone of any weight, unless that opponent is also extremely experienced, then you get the disadvantage. But yes, I love it as a sport. You know, it definitely shaped my life and gave me discipline and good habits and things like that. So love it.
It doesn't help that he wasn't just some like random. He was like a Gold Glove winner.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Dude, I'm just imagining it. You're like the real world version of Rage Quit. You just got hit and you're just like, I'm done. Absolutely done.
Dude, I was bleeding out of my nose after one hit. This dude straight bopped me.
That's
He
hilarious.
was like an aggressive teenager, like, but we were friends. So I was really big into like UFC and shit, right? So Vitor Belfort was really popping off at the time. You had Ken Shamrock, Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, like whoever, right? And so I was like, I could like grapple with him. You know what I'm saying? But straight up boxing, no chance. No chance.
Yeah. By the way, we picked all the 5 winners. If your name popped up, congrats, you won. I found a way to make it to where it's only relevant. So if I just do the giveaway again, it'll only pick up the ones from recent. So that's how I'm going to do it from now on. So please, for the love of God, stop typing your name. And we will commence the rest of this. And then at the end, we'll give away another 5.
How many people entered out of interest?
I mean, if I don't refresh this thing, it's like a few hundred, like 300, 500 in there. But if I refresh, then it goes down to like 100 and then, instantly pops back up to like 300, 500 again really quick. So I don't know, maybe like 500, even though there's only 248 people in here. Maybe it's maybe some people are like typing in their names and then joining with another account type. I don't know. Maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
They're gaming the system, and Jimmy's going to find out who you are. Okay. What he does. I gotta get a drink real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
I appreciate you.
I'm dry up.
Carrying me a little bit. Yeah. I feel you. All right. So let's see. Where was I? We said, okay. So do you guys have a rough idea of how many mints you want to have and how much needs to be raised in order to reach your goals?
Good question.
Yeah. So our Stag Alliance mint is enough raised to reach all of our goals that we've published in our vision paper and the infographic, which is kind of a quick view, if you like, of the vision paper. So, everything is accounted for safely to do that. Absolutely. We're not saying that we're going to be doing a mutation mint or anything like that to kind of raise more funds to build what we've set out. So, but we're not ruling out ever, doing any other mint again in the future. If there's demand for it, if our world builds, if our audience builds, then we will continue to grow our world. So, but yeah, we are the first and foremost the Stag Alliance.
Okay, so it'll be Stags as the main mint, no other mints after that, but the items that you'll get, those will be on chain.
Yeah. So so the items, that's not like a mint where you have the whitelist public. It's not that kind of mint at all. They are items that you get through the events. And yes, so with the Enter the Portal events, those will be on chain under obviously different policies. And they will connect to the gamified platform. So they're kind of like your starter pack, if you like. Although you will be able to use your stags without having items, but the items will allow you to do things either quicker or things that you just can't do at a basic level. So yeah.
Now, quick question, not to be whatever. I'm trying to see if I can push the boundaries. Did you send Nick a copy of your favorite trait?
Yeah, I sent you two. One of them hasn't. So one of them is actually the top right. You see on the infographic. It's just a bigger version of that because I really like all the traits there. I love the kind of this blue flame whip. I love that because it just extends throughout all of the space carefully. So that's one of them. It's got this gold intricate helmet, a gold elven ear, the eyes. So the eyes are a different layer to the helmet. So you could have that eye and a different kind of headwear, and that's called the soul gaze eye, which is I love that one. Same with the mouth as well. You could have a different top layer of the mouth and a different bottom layer. So that beard could change for another beard, a tongue coming out, and the nose ring could change to the bowling ball, which you saw. So, but yeah, the flame whip and that armor. So yeah, I love all of this composition here.
Yeah, we had this was actually a question I was going to ask, so this ties in nicely. They say, who is the enemy of the stags other than the mad sorceress? Haven't seen a bad guy in the story yet revealed.
I would recommend rereading the story, but the humans are mainly the enemies of the stags. The humans think the magic is the work of the devil, and they want to get the stags out of Earth.
Yeah, I read a little bit of the story, and I was gonna say I thought it was the humans, but the mad sorceress was maybe I didn't read it right. The mad sorceress kind of gave them the powers, though, right? She wasn't like the enemy. I think she would be more so like an alliance member.
Yeah,
and to that we do have a shorthand version of the story written that we're releasing soon as well. So if you want to read that in a quicker way to get kind of the idea of the story, then there is that way, because we appreciate not everyone wants to read or listen to it, or that's fine. So we don't want to miss out on people because they don't have the time. So we've got a shorthand as well. So this stag here is wearing this, do we call it exo? So this is quite a rare one, and the skin goes all the way down below the base as well. So that kind of skin there, it's not a helmet, it's not or anything like that, it's the whole kind of body.
This one looks
so that has these lightning antlers. It's got an enchanted double axe, so you can have that double axe without the you see the yellow glow on it and the kind of runes. So that is because it's enchanted. So you can either get an enchanted one, and they come in various colors as well, or you can get a standard one. And the color of the enchantment depends on what clan or color of Stag you've got, because we want everything to work, you know, in color harmony. So we specifically have hundreds of exclusions based on what that kind of the base layers of the Stag is, or this, that, and the other. So that's one part that's taken us a while. You know, now we finished the art, all of the exclusion side has, you know, taken a while to define what can go with what, without ruling out so much that there isn't enough possibilities to have a big collection as well. Because if we just were so strict, then the art would all come out the same. So we have to let it be flexible as well.
Gotcha. I saw somewhere, I think I'll just go back to your Discord and go into the Git book, because
Sure.
there was the clans that you were just talking about, and I wanted to ask you, you know, what the difference is between those clans, what they are, and how they will kind of interact with themselves. Let's see if I can find it.
Do you mean in terms of the gamified platform? Or do you mean in the store?
I guess like all together, like how the different, the different benefits within everything. Let me bring it up over here real quick.
So, each clan has its own color scheme, as you can see there. So we wanted to, from a really basic level, give a nice amount of variety in terms of aesthetic collectability. You know, people have preferences towards colors, so we wanted to cover as many bases as possible when it comes to just simple aesthetic. And then in the lore, in the story, certain clans sort of play towards certain personalities. So for instance, you've got Ferracun, whose rulers are Queen Ferocity and King Cunning, and they're a very war-hungry clan. And so in the collection, the weighting of, for instance, knights will be more so in that clan than in a more peaceful clan. So each clan has 5 factions. I don't know whether you were going to ask us about that later, but it's relevant now. So each clan has 5 factions, and each of the factions has a certain role within the game, and a role within the world building, you know, a role within the lore. But within the gamification, each faction has a role, a bonus, or the ability to do something that another faction can't. And then each clan is going to have a different weighting of the number of those factions. So you'll have some clans that are more just sort of suited towards the making and crafting, and you'll have some clans that are more related to combat and battle, and it goes through to we also have politicals, which are sort of more related to society and leadership, and so we have the knights, the conjurers, so to do with magic, and in which case we feel people will be drawn towards clans that I guess suit the type of personality they want in the game. So for instance, the war-hungry clans are probably going to be collected by people who kind of like that element of fantasy, and the conjurers, the clans that are more suited to conjurers, will be collected by people who are more interested in the magic and enchantment, so on and so forth.
Gotcha. What about the makers? What are they going to be used for?
Crafting. So you'll have the ability, once the platform's in its full functionality, there'll be the ability to collect resources and combine them to create items. And that will essentially be some of the more basic functionality. Eventually, you know, long term, we want to add customizability and whatnot, but we won't sort of go into detail about that. For now, people need to know they'll be able to start sort of building a collection and building a legacy of items and experience and skills, and, you know, building their clan of stags and establishing their legacy, first of all, in Moonstone. Moonstone's the city or the settlement that the stags build. and in the platform release, in the alpha, people are going to help us build Moonstone in our gamified platform. And eventually, once we've gone through the 3 seasons, we will take Moonstone into the Elder World and start expanding things much more massively. But for now, we've got to start realistic and start with our building of Moonstone and the adventures around Moonstone, where players can start building their legacy in that fantasy world.
Gotcha. Would you say that the clans are more important as far as, utility or whatever, as opposed to either royals, the politicals? I forget what are the terms called, the politicals and the royals. What's the metadata?
Okay, so the royals are a class of their own. They're simply 20 royals who are appointed to rule the 10 clans. And then we have the factions. So a maker, a citizen, a knight, and so on. 5 of those groups, they're all factions. Now, if you wanted a sort of collectability head start, if you wanted to go deep into the gaming, and I would say, in answer to your question, the faction is going to be more important than the clan, but the clan will have a different weighting of factions. So certain clans will be suited more so to certain collections and personalities, but really it's the faction, the maker, the conjurer, that's going to have the biggest effect on your experience in the platform.
Gotcha. And then I know that you had the chosen one. You have like the mad sorceress, the king, and the seer. Are those all one of ones, or will there be multiple kings, multiple chosen ones?
So within the Stag Alliance, the NFTs are just going to be deers, stags. So the human king and those kind of characters, they're not in the Stag Alliance collection. The chosen one is a one of one, only one. The royals, I actually gave you a link in Discord to a page on our website that shows kind of the royals. There's 20 of those, and they're one of ones, if you like.
We haven't reviewed.
So so this just shows some of them with what clan they're in. They do have factions kind of built behind them, but they're just kind of going to be, and they can have more than one as well to make them a bit more special.
So to be clear on that, as part of our planning for the gamification, the royals are special in the sense that they will have a combined bonus rather than a separate bonus. So for instance, if a maker has a crafting bonus, it's obviously not going to have a bonus in the other fields like combat, like magic, but the royals are going to have different combinations of bonuses where they cover a more rounded bonus.
Okay, I got you. So there's going to be a king and a queen for each clan, essentially.
Yeah, that's right.
And each has their own personality, so their personality kind of suits the temperament of the clan. But for instance, say we look at Queen Ferocity, she's through and through a knight, so it's likely that her bonus is going to be related to that, but she'll also carry a bonus in other fields as well.
Okay, and with the chosen one, there's only going to be one. Now, is that going to be kept and reserved for the pass holders, or can you mint that?
That's going to be available to mint for anybody. So we did have discussions about what to do with this chosen one. We wasn't sure whether to save it for a future event, save it for auction, or save it for a raffle, or because there's so many options you can do. But we spoke with the pass holders and the Discord to kind of get a little taste of what they think, as we don't like to make big decisions and get them wrong. So it's always good to touch base with the community. So, and then we we decided from there, you know, the best, most fairest thing is just to put it in the collection, then anybody can have a chance to get it.
I agree with that. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, most people are probably going to vote that because there's only 300, you know, of the pass holders. So everybody else is going to say, you know, no. But Starline.
Well, we actually put the question to the pass holders initially because I thought the same, but you know, they kind of wanted it in the main collection, and you know, we spoke with the mods and the wider one. So yeah, it's anyone can get it. And
I like that too, because everybody wants to mint it. You know, like everybody's out there gunning for it. It's highly unlikely, but you know, everybody's, you know, dreaming of it, you know, and then waking up and being like, damn, it's just a dream. But like, yeah, I mean, I want it, of course. But is that going to be the strongest stag in the group?
It goes without saying, right?
Right. Somebody asked, what's the strongest stag? And I figured it was kind of obvious, but you know, you never know. Maybe it's just like a magical thing that just, I don't know, that could go into the multiplier, multiplies all your stags, and no other can do that. I don't know. It would still be the most strong, right, if that was the case. But
yeah, don't get us wrong. We're not going to allow any single holder to be able to overpower the game, because it wouldn't be fun for everyone. So we've got to work the mechanics out in a way that mean collection comes with benefits, but collection doesn't mean you can just buy your way to winning the game. Then no one will play. You know, it'd just be pointless. So, of course, you can assume, and you'll be right in assuming things like the Chosen One, the one of 7,500. You know, the main character of the story, that collectible is going to come with many benefits in the platform. And one of the interesting things, or one of the things we're really interested with as well, is shaping the experience relative to the NFT you hold as well, which is kind of like where the Enter the Portal events begin in that way, in a really simple way. If you have this portal, if you have a stag related to this portal, you can go through to a certain part of the Elder World. You know, that Elder World will be presented in website format, but it will have a lot of immersion and engagement. And then what we can do is start expanding those experiences so that people with certain NFTs or wallets with certain NFTs can access certain content related to how that character is involved in the story. So a lot of the time people ask what we mean by like Web3 storytelling, and I get it. It's quite a difficult concept to grasp. And if we had the exact answer, you know, exactly what it meant, we'd probably be billionaires right now. So what we're doing is experimenting with these things, experimenting with how owning an NFT or how collecting certain combinations of NFTs can improve your experience or alter your experience within a community, within a web-based platform. And we've got plenty of sort of exciting things mapped out, but until we really fine-tune the details, you know, we can't put it in our vision paper. We can't say that it's a definite. But yeah, hopefully you get the idea that we're kind of creating an immersive world, kind of underpinned by those NFTs.
Yeah, I get that. There's a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna kind of answer them really quick. Yes, there's 5 more whitelists available. They want to know how many can these special guests mint, and did they receive a portal?
Oh, the special guest role on Discord is just like a cosmetic role. So you two have both got the role in our Discord, just you know, as a thank you to your service kind of thing.
I appreciate
it. But yeah, it's a cosmetic kind of role.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm happy to have it. But yeah, no, we did not get a portal, and we do not get whitelist from that, but we are whitelisted anyways. What was the other question? I know people keep saying more giveaways. Yes, we have 5 to do at the end. Don't spam your names. It's not going to count. When I pull it up, I'm just going to refresh it, and it's going to go from the new list. So you're wasting your time typing in all your names. Just stop, please. So yeah, I did have one question as well about the mystery character. will that be an NFT that's minted and isn't revealed until later, or will that be an NFT that comes at a later date?
So with many characters, as the world expands, we'll be looking at the best ways to integrate them into, I guess, the collectibles or into the interactive parts of the story. So, for instance, kind of imagine you're going in through the portal, you're landing somewhere in the Elder World with a mad sorceress and you're beginning on her adventure. You're going to meet other characters, and that's going to relate to some of the literature we release as well. So you become more and more familiar with those characters. And then I think in the end, we'll put it to the community to see what they want to do with those characters. But as Ash was saying earlier, we have no further planned mints in stone, except for the items you can gain from the gamified platform. But that's not to say we wouldn't want to then bring other characters in and involve them in the game. It's just something that we're not focused on now, because right now we're focusing on making the Stag Alliance an extremely engaging space to be. And so our main collection is the Stags. So it's the Chosen One, the Royals, the clans and the factions split into their numbers, essentially.
So, okay, so you guys are talking about the multiverse, right? And so, which is like a buzzword, let's say, in an instance, especially for me. You know, obviously the polar tools have something to do with like the multiverse, right? And basically, I just watched Everything All at Once.
Oh, nice.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, right?
Yeah.
And so this movie changed my whole thought process on what a multiverse is.
Yeah.
Right? Are you guys, and please say yes, okay, even if it's not true, are you guys taking any sort of inspiration from that movie?
Do you know what's really interesting? I watched that film not long ago. Maybe, I don't know, it was within the last 6 months. I can't remember. Time flies. Right? I watched that film, and you can safely say that our use of the word multiverse, it must have coincided, whether it was just before or just afterwards. I don't know. But the concept of a multiverse in that film, you know, that film's quite weird and wonderful. It's a really cool film. It's kind of crazy. But the concept of a multiverse kind of plays on the fantasy theme of anything being possible. You know, like the Marvel universe, anything's possible. You know, they mix ancient fantasy with modern fantasy. They mix sci-fi and fairy fantasy, that kind of thing. Anything's possible in a multiverse, just like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? Anything is possible. But, you know, we wouldn't want to start alienating our current market or anything to that effect. We are an ancient fantasy brand as of now, and our stories will build out from ancient fantasy in a believable way. You know, it's not like we're going to bring in robots in the next collection. It's not going to happen like that. But a multiverse does leave those opportunities open, right? If it works.
However,
Go on.
The magic of all ages is what was blessed from the Stag Alliance. So we do have some fantasy, we do have some kind of sci-fi, we have some trends from these days, but that plays as well into NFT culture as well, with the vaster assortment of different items.
Yeah, exactly.
Just quickly, what movie are we talking about again? There's a lot of people in chat that missed it.
I haven't seen the movie either. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Nick, if you haven't watched it, take some shrooms, watch it, and your life will change. No, it's like a bit chaotic. It is a chaotic movie.
Yeah.
But like he said, it's like beautiful. I don't know how to explain it.
On Rotten Tomatoes, that's a good score. You know, so
Do you have to watch it twice to get it, or do you get it first time?
You can watch it once, but I'm sure if you watched it 2 or 3 times, you'd pick up something new. It's a really cool film.
Like,
yeah, I would show like the trailer a little bit, but I know it's gonna demonetize me, so we're gonna have to stay away, unfortunately.
There's like a multiverse spot where they have just like to give it some context or whatever. There's a multiverse that they exist in where they have hot dogs for fingers and stuff.
Okay.
And it's
It sounds like Rick and Morty a little bit.
I mean, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
yeah.
It's so
really
crazy.
Loads of layers.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's like the last time I got a feeling like that, for a movie, I was watching Interstellar for the first time.
Nice.
And it was kind of like in your mind, you knew all of these things were happening at the same time, but on a different timeline for each person. And so it was very unique in an actual viewing experience. You know, like I went to go see Megan, that movie, with my children. That was not a movie experience. Okay. That was like I'm going to forget about this shit as soon as I leave this theater. Right. This is more along the lines of like, hey, you know, I'm gonna take my time. I'm really gonna watch like 10, 15 YouTube videos of it afterwards to explain everything. Like this is an experience, like Inception, right? Jiggle said Inception. Inception was an experience as well. Like I felt like these were actual art, right? So a movie can be art. I don't think Megan is art per se. It's just like shit thrown at the wall to see if it sticks, right? This I believe is actual like an art.
Yeah, you kind of got like, you know, lost in its lore, which is what makes you really like it, which, you know, ties back into the project. And you guys are creating your lore and you're calling this the Big Bang, which I think ties in with a lot of the things that they were just talking about too, which I think is kind of crazy. But it's like, this is where you're calling your Big Bang essentially like the next stage of your project, where you really like focus heavily on lore, and you're going to have your lore put into literature, and you're going to have it on Audible and Amazon. And how does that process happen? Like, do you need to meet certain criteria? Can you not be vulgar? Like, do you need to kind of like cater to people? Like, I don't know. Like, how does it work for all that?
Yeah. So one of the things we've been quite vocal about is wanting to bring in an audience beyond the CNFT space. And when you're looking at fantasy world building is a big way to draw people in, and you know that's writing literature involved in that world. And I mean, to be crude, you don't need a really high standard of literature to publish on Amazon and Apple and whatnot. They're open platforms, but we, and especially me, I understand the publishing process incredibly well. I studied literature at university, and then I did my MA in creative writing. And I have a very well-received book on Amazon. It's a crime novel, though. It's not a fantasy novel. So I don't use the same author name as I do in the fantasy stuff. And so what we're going to do is take full advantage of that skill set. And it's been a passion and a dream of mine anyway to write fantasy. So I love what I'm doing. And we will reshape the lore to target a fantasy market, because at the moment, you know, our lore is still shaped toward CNFT. You know, we tie it into the kind of aesthetic of the NFTs and whatnot, but it's also a story. You know, some people think it's a good story. I'm sure some people think it's not a good story, but hopefully the majority enjoy the story. Not everyone likes reading either. So, you know, that's why from the CNFT perspective, from the web platform perspective, we want to create these immersive stories in many different ways. But in terms of bringing in people who like literature, people who like fantasy as a genre, then publishing work on Amazon, on Apple Books, creating audiobooks and whatnot, and not even mentioning an NFT, that's going to go a long way, provided the stories are good. Now, I'm confident I can write good stories, but it's up to, the community whether they feel that I can or not. And that might influence their decisions of being involved in our community or the project. But all that aside, yeah, we feel like it's going to be a really strong way to draw people in. And that ties also into our concept art. So you saw the first piece of concept art. I don't know how much time you spend on Reddit, but people go nuts for great art like that on Reddit. You post something, you get a lot of attention. We don't have to mention NFTs, but then people get involved in the project. They go on the website, they start reading the lore, they might find a book on Amazon, and before you know it, they are a fan who is connected to that collectible without even knowing that there are collectibles available. That increases demand and brings in a larger audience.
Yeah, and builds trust, because if you're not into NFTs, just hearing the word NFT, people, think whatever they've been told by someone else.
Yeah, so many people think it's a scam. It's really frustrating too, because I try to branch out too and talk to people about just regular finances, and then I always get dragged back in with my own mind because I love NFTs, and then they're just like, oh, okay, and you just like, all this passion we're just talking about for like stocks and crypto. As soon as I bring up NFTs, it just dies and it kills the room. I'm just like, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, come on, man, give me a shot.
Yeah.
So if we want to expand outside, then we have to be careful about how we do that. So not mentioning it initially to build a story, and then letting them find out. Even with the kind of game platform, of course, initially that is open to just NFT holders as our, because it is an alpha, having a lower base players is perfect. But if we do want to expand that for people to come and connect and play without knowing about it being an NFT project, or they can play and they can collect things, but they don't know they're collecting NFTs until a certain point, and then when they realize that they can convert what they have into NFTs, that's I think a great tool for onboarding and lowering the barrier of resistance.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people just don't know that it's not only art. I think a lot of people think it's just art, and it's like, well, they're also building this and they're building that and they've built this and you can connect to that and you can, so there's definitely that stigma that it's just art and why would I buy a JPEG? And it's like, okay, that's a very strong, thing to argue, because there's a lot of, it's, we could call it crap art, but it's all subjective. You don't really know. And
what I would ask a lot of them is, when did you last analyze the art scene? When, even if it's just art, there's so much more to it than that, right? It's a whole cultural phenomenon, just like all art movements are connected to. But this is like arguably one of the first art movements that has appealed to the mainstream collector. It's way more than just art, because they'll be doing university modules on it in 20 years, however long it takes the unis to catch up. They'll be like, okay, this was a cultural phenomenon. Technology converged with human behavior and it changed everything in a way. It's too early now for people to sort of recognize that. But it's a topic I'm really passionate about. I wrote an essay on the value of art before NFTs existed, many years ago. And now seeing that converge with technology and with art, I would say, anyone who says NFTs are just art, and even if it was just an artwork-based project, there's no such thing as just art. So they're probably missing the point completely, right?
Right. It's just, I think it's just hard for a lot of older people because they're just not used to it, and they've seen like what minted, Bored Ape Yacht Club blew up, and they're just like, why would I own a monkey? This is stupid, and they recluse inside of their head, and they just get angry, like, this is dumb. Back in my day, I would have to work 24 years before I got this kind of money. Like, I get it, I understand why you're mad, but like, people got to let go of that like deep dark anger and like ego that they have sometimes, and try to like see it for what it actually is. But
Yeah, definitely.
you guys mentioned digital interactivity that will increase your reputation and allow you to complete quests. Will this be through your literature? Will this be something on your website? How will you interact?
That will be the platform. So it will start with the Enter the Portal events. They will be interactive web experiences. You will have to interact with the site. It's not just going to be some kind of animation or movie where you can passively jump into the Elder World and take your loot. You're going to have to help a character solve a problem. And, it's not going to be like a massive long quest that you'll find in an MMO that currently exists, because those MMOs cost hundreds of millions to make and maintain. But what we're going to do is a really exciting version of storytelling that is interactive on the site. But the line you read, that's then more so related to the Moonstone game alpha, but because users are going to be able to, as they complete tasks on the site, as they complete actions, for instance, mining an ore, their XP in that field will increase. So they'll build skills, and the skill building will unlock other opportunities.
Okay. No, so it's kind of like RuneScape. You get to level 50, you can now mine the adamant ore, and now you can make adamant stuff. You get to level 60, you can now get the rune stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I played a lot of RuneScape when I was younger. A lot of my teens have some very fond memories of that game. And like many MMOs, it's going to be in or many RPGs actually, it's going to be in that sense where you can build the reputation and skill of your character. We just have to be very clear whenever we talk about things like RuneScape. We can't build RuneScape on our budget. We're not building the next RuneScape. And I would like to add a key word, yet. You never know where we're going to end up, but for now, and it's also why we're not using the word game at large, we're using the words gamified platform, because what we're going to have is, and it's something we've not seen yet to the level we're going to build it, but it is going to be web-based. It's going to have static and dynamic elements that take you through processes where you feel like you are collecting wood or collecting stone, and you are building things and crafting items. We want to get that immersive aspect in there. And luckily Ash is an expert UI designer, so we have a lot of that skill set already in our base, and you can see how good his drawings are. We're sure we've got that immersive element covered. And what we hope is, and what we envisage is, people are going to enjoy being on this platform, enjoy engaging with the community, enjoy building their profile and building their clan of stags in a way that suits them, suiting the roles that they like. Someone might just simply enjoy slaying monsters, while someone else might enjoy crafting swords. It's up to you what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And if we get this user base, if we get a solid level of engagement in the alpha with the stag holders, then we're in a really good position to start expanding that and bringing in new features and new parts of the world.
Yeah, and one of the great things about it that's planned that I like is the community aspect. So it's not a multiplayer kind of game, but it does have a multiplayer element in that. So the first phase is building Moonstone. It starts off with no buildings. So if you imagine, let's say, a blacksmith building where you can craft items, that building is not there at the start. So how do you get that? So you get that by people going in and collecting resources like stone and wood. Then they have to contribute that to that kind of building together. So let's say it requires 20,000 wood. So if you was to donate 20 wood and I was to donate 60 wood, then that would add up together. And then, so we're building the buildings together and we unlock it together, and then we can use it together to upgrade our items to go on and build the next building. So we all kind of work together alone. Well, we work alone, but together for a kind of a shared goal. And that's kind of bringing in story and community, and people can talk about it, and some will hold their resources, maybe save them for something else. Some will contribute, but ultimately it's about working together. And we can fine tune it as well, because we don't want to set it up so that a building's never built because people aren't contributing. So we can adjust kind of the parameters. And in the alpha, it's all about testing, observing, and iterating. So that's the part that excites me, is the kind of the joint effort.
Yeah.
Will there be like benefits to somebody who donated more of the materials?
Yeah, there will be benefits, so that somebody isn't hoarding, collecting loads of stuff while someone's giving it all away to a building at the end, and like, hey, I built this, but then this other person's got loads of stuff.
Yeah.
That's all part of the game mechanics to build fairness.
There'll definitely be an element of choosing your strategy and how you interact with the community quests and your own building of your legacy. Some people might think that it's a great idea to hoard items in alpha that they can then take into the beta when it's open to new players who haven't had a chance to build anything yet, But we are going to make sure the balance is good, and that cooperation and community-driven interaction is rewarded. So you might have the opportunity to come across rarer loot while on a community quest than you would on a solo quest, things like that.
Yeah, because community is such a massive part of our culture, isn't it? So why not involve that directly in your platform is what, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing, I know I have to pick up my kids or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing, okay, on this particular aspect, because I'm kind of passionate about this, okay? If I can bring up something like relative, I think, and it has to do with a video game, and I haven't played video games in for a long time, right? Because I'm more into NFTs, and NFTs remind me of video games. I know everybody wants me to shut up because they want the whitelist. I totally get it. Now, one thing I will say, and this is what this relates to, and this is what this reminds me of, is the fact that so there's going to be community events to help your community or help the people in there, right? And so in Red Dead Redemption 2, right, you had your whole gang, right? And basically you didn't have to tend to your gang at all. You didn't have to share resources, you didn't have to donate anything or anything like that. I would say that was the most frustrating part of the game, is you had this gang that you were supposed to take care of, but you actually really didn't even have to take care of them ever. You didn't help them any or anything like that. Yeah. I would probably find a way to reward people who help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what the answer is, but I just know that in that game particularly, that was the most frustrating part, because it was well, why do I need to do anything for my gang if there are no consequences or there's no sort of extra XP given or something like that? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's one of those.
Something we're considering for sure. I mean, to sort of emphasize on what Ash said, we're really looking at how to engage the community and make it an exciting, in a sense, a multiplayer, but we're going to have people talking on Discord and whatnot. We're not going to have RuneScape style, everyone in that world with their own avatar being able to chat in that world, simply because we're realistic about our resources. We can't promise a 3D MMORPG. And don't get us wrong, we would love to develop one, but one step at a time. And one of these steps is we are confident we can create a really engaging, cooperative and competition-based platform. You need a competition too. It can't all be we're all on the same team. People will want to start competing, and we would never take that away from them either. So cooperation, competition, community, those things are going to be really well considered in our platform for sure.
Okay. And cleanup, how much time do you have? Do you have like 5-10 minutes?
I have like 5 or 10 minutes. Big shout out to Tink. Yo, love you, girl. What's going on? Hope you're having a good day. But yeah, I got like 5-10 minutes. I'll stay for like the giveaway.
I sent you the rest of the questions that I wanted to get answered on Discord.
Oh,
if you could
Jesus. Okay.
If you could go ahead and ask those questions while I do this, that'd be great.
Excellent.
So and don't worry, if he has to leave, you know, I can continue to ask the questions, but I just didn't want there to be any dead time while I go ahead and pick all these winners. So, all right, guys, we are doing the last 5 whitelist giveaways. We are going to continue to stay here when we're done, and I'll keep chatting until, you know, I have everything that I wanted answered. It's not going to be very long. Don't worry, guys. Not going to hold you here forever. But yeah, so go ahead. You can now commence spamming. I also wanted to say, oh yeah, remember to spam your Discord name with the hashtag and your number. That's how you get picked.
Not your wallet address.
I was going to say, I see what.
Somebody posted their wallet address.
No wallet addresses. And I also saw a really funny comment that had me laughing for a while. So, Atlanick, are you Jesse Pinkman? All right. Now, a lot of people say I don't look anything like Jesse Pinkman, and a lot of people say I look just like him. And if you don't know who that is, that's the like sidekick from Breaking Bad, like the skinny drug addict. So like, you know, I love his character. I think he's hilarious. I actually, when I worked at a TGI Fridays, they called me Jesse Pinkman every single day. And they forced me, when I came into work, I had to say, "It's blue, bitch." And if I didn't say that, then I couldn't work that day. So I would just walk through the doors. And as soon as I walked through the doors, I would just scream, "It's blue, bitch." And we would just go to work. And that was like my contribution to TGI Fridays. So I just thought that was really funny.
Damn, dude. That's awesome. What was your favorite appetizer at TGI Fridays?
Oh, fuck TGI Fridays. That shit sucks. Go
Bro,
somewhere else.
fried green beans. They have to have the fried green beans.
They're okay. They're okay.
Good.
I would say flatbread. Flatbread was the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But, if you get to the giveaway, that's all these people care about. Okay. They might not even listen to this question, but I'm gonna pose a question, right? So I don't know if gaming is on your radar. I know that you're gamifying it, which means like it's not like a true like video game or whatever. But would that be something you look into, like a video game? And if so, what would you see Stag Alliance video game being?
It's a good question. I mean, that's a tough one. I've made it quite clear we would love to develop a video game like an MMORPG. Which one though? That's a tricky one. They're all good in their own sense. It would be nice if we could create something unique, but of course you're looking at some of the most popular, you know, imagine we could build a World of Warcraft. People would be insanely happy with that, and they'd be incredibly happy they got the first collectibles or avatars in that game 10 years before it happened. You know, it would be amazing. I love the how Ashes of Creation looks. There's so much potential there, but I also think it would be important to emphasize that we're not trying to imitate anything that exists so far. And so if we were going to build our own game, we would want it to be known for what would likely be called the Elder World. You know, we wouldn't want people to say, oh, okay, great, check out this NFT project they're building the next World of Warcraft. You know, we would like people to play the Elder World game and say, well, this is something unique.
How would you feel about a dungeon crawler?
How would we feel about it?
Yeah, if it was like a dungeon crawler, you know, kind of like a Diablo series or...
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it for sure. My favorite game ever, which sadly doesn't quite apply to this, is Age of Empires 2. I feel like that game is modern chess. It's incredible. I spent many, many hours playing the multiplayer, way too many. It would be lovely if we could build some kind of strategy game, but what we would really have to do is look at the what the market wants and what the community wants, you know, what our potential market wants and what our current community want, And that, I think that could manifest in many, many different ways. And starting with the platform we're building, we have many, many options, because the platform is going to kind of be a launch pad for what could be mini games, what could be an expansion of a world that eventually becomes 3D. There are many, many options, but there will be no need for us to focus on that now, because right now what we've got is the fantasy world building, and we can draw a massive audience in with good fantasy world building without needing to build an MMORPG. So like, why would we spend 100 million on trying to build the next World of Warcraft when really we need the audience in the first place? We need the user base. We need the people who love our fantasy world. So that's the goal. Find people who love our fantasy world.
I gotcha. So it mentions in like the Git book that there's governance. Do you know, have you guys ironed out how voting is going to work?
Yeah, we recently have looked at this kind of structure, haven't we, Jimmy? You kind of looked at how it could possibly work. We don't have the exact answer yet.
So yeah, one of the key things to recognize with governance, on-chain governance, is, it's damn exciting. I think it's a potentially a political revolution. It's definitely on the way you can organize online communities. It's a revolution. But what many projects have forgotten is you need a good governance structure. It doesn't matter if someone can vote on chain if you can't create the right, I guess, leadership structures and balances of what's done. So you'll see plenty of cryptocurrencies, they have on-chain governance, and you'll see plenty of, say, like DeFi protocols with governance, but not many people are actually using them. Not many people are actually voting. Not many people are putting proposals through. So what we've really been focusing on is how can we create a society, a digital society, a worldwide society that can organize itself and then use the technology to make that a streamlined organization. So we haven't really been looking at the technical element, because that's simple. We need a democratic, form of governance that allows a community to have a say. But what's really important is, how do you organize your community? How do you organize your society, your government, so to speak? And that's the million-dollar question. If you do that right, things explode, regardless of the technology, the voting. That's quite straightforward. So we're thinking about it. We're really considering it thoroughly. It's going to take some time. We're not going to launch the platform with on-chain governance. It's something that will definitely take more time, and focusing on the world building, focusing on the engagement. The governance can come a little bit later. So long as people trust Ash and I as the core team and the mods as the extended team. If they trust us, then that's the current governance structure, and eventually we'll start opening it out to the wider community.
I'm just going to chime in real quick. Moran Kiva, can you please type it again? I am lost.
Okay, this is going to be my final question, Nick. So you're in crunch time right now, okay? Because I got to pick up my kids in 6 minutes, and it takes me about 3 minutes to drive there. So you don't have to make it a quick answer or anything like that. I might have to dip like randomly, guys. I know that's going to break. I know it's going to break hearts in here, but it's something I got to do. So within the Moonstone segment of your Git book, it says you can collect legendary creatures and items. How do you collect the legendaries? And how much impact will the variants have as opposed to regular creatures?
So that'll be something that comes slightly later in the phases, right? The first phase is going to be building Moonstone. So it's more about collecting resources, crafting items, and going into the building phase of things. Eventually, as the gameplay develops, or if you want to call it gameplay, you will be able to engage with characters and creatures in ways that will potentially recruit them to your clan. And they will have an effect on different parts of, I guess, what you do in the platform. So, for instance, the stags are the first collectibles, and those stags have the 5 factions. And then later, you might be able to collect a creature that is exceptional in battle. And that legendary, to be able to collect that, you would need to get yourself to a high level to be able to get to those opportunities, you know, to be able to combat the creatures that are in that legendary, in the legendary scale. Need to be a very high level, probably have the right equipment and the right strategy to defeat that creature. And then you might be able to convince that creature to join your clan once defeated. So I guess, yeah, we're not going to have an element of just, you know, pure luck in getting these things. You are going to have to engage with the game. You're going to have to engage with the strategy. That's what's going to make it fun. You know, collectibles aren't fun if all you do is look at them. They need the backstory. They need the cultural and historic, and if anything, they need the sentiment, right? They need you to go, I really enjoyed this because of the tangible experience I've had around it.
Awesome. So just by chance, does anybody know, can you have only 2 things in your Discord name? Like, or 3? She has 225. Isn't it supposed to be 4 letters, or am I tripping?
I've always seen 4.
I've only seen 4, but I don't know the rules of the game. No. Okay.
Moreland, if you mistyped, just type it again. Also, that's it. So you can stop, you know, spamming names, everybody. All the names have been picked. Congratulations to the winners who have popped up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cleanup, for handling that. And I apologize for not being able to listen super intently while I'm doing all this.
No, you're fine. You're fine. They just answered. They gave up so much alpha.
Oh, here it is.
And you missed out on everything. You didn't hear a single thing. So you lost out on a legendary. So no big deal. It's fine. Not a big deal. No, but dude, I hate to run. Seriously, I do.
Yeah,
Very highly interested in your project. Obviously, I'm in Discord. I'll be participating. Definitely gonna mint. This is not financial advice, but sure, go ahead and mint. Yeah, you guys are good. Keep doing your thing. I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. And dude, thank you so much for your time with me. You know, it's always very interesting to reach out to projects, and you guys taking out time out of your day when you could be doing other things is very important to me. So that's awesome. I definitely appreciate
you guys for taking your time out to
get us. And I also like having updates on projects, right? So don't feel bad to like reach out to us again if you'd like to, you know, talk about other things or feel like you have info or whatever later on. You guys are gonna have multiple drops, correct? So you know, feel free. We'll keep us updated. You know, come on the podcast again.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to get out of here, Nick. Yo, I'll talk to you this week. You know,
yeah, I'll catch you up on the NFT that you miss.
Yeah. All right. I will. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Have a good one, man. So I also saw Alsif. He's saying he meant to put Jason 3, not regular Jason. It's going to be hard for me to know if this is like somebody trying to steal your spot. Yeah, I'll write it down, homie. But people don't do this stuff to me. Come on now. Type your Discord names right, because it's so easy for people to scam me or to like change up a name by like 1 letter and say this is what I meant and steal your spot. So I really don't ever want to do that. I'm gonna write this name down and this name only. If you screw it up in the future, you're lost. Just because I can't verify that it's you, and I don't want you to lose out on your spot. So yeah, just wanted to make that clear. Jason 3. Cool. All right. So, what question did he leave you off on
Or what was it?
How'd you get
Was-
legend?
about the legendaries?
Yeah, how'd you get legendary? Yeah, that was his last question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, underneath that was basically how much more impactful will the legendary variants be as opposed to the regular creatures or regular items?
Yeah. So again, a similar answer to what you gave earlier, Jimmy, in that they will be impactful, but they won't kind of game the system in that you get such a big advantage over everybody else as well. So again, it's that balance of reward versus, it being an unbalanced kind of system as such.
Yeah, it's probably also worth recognizing that I've seen a lot of NFTs or NFT projects just considering that legendary means rare. In our case, yes, legendary is going to be rare, but there's also going to be a whole backstory to those items, to those creatures and characters. So as people come in from outside of the CNFT space, they're going to desire those collectibles more because they buy into the story. I guess a good example could be, say you were playing some kind of Harry Potter MMO. Everyone wants to be Harry Potter, right? Not literally everyone, but most people would be. But you even if they were balanced players, say Hermione, Ron, Malfoy, say they were all balanced, you're still going to get people who want to be or collect the one that they're more drawn to. And that's kind of like one of the key elements of collectibles. Like I used to have friends who, even though Charizard was rarer, they preferred Blastoise simply because Blastoise was a turtle that shoots, cannons. Everyone's different. So our legendaries are going to be kind of like, I guess, bolstered by the collectible sentiment, not just the bonus in game. Because if it was just the bonus in game, it'd be kind of boring. But there's a whole story behind it. It's fun.
Okay. Do you guys plan on having your own like website or anything like that that's going to like own marketplace that you can buy and trade these things on?
One day, potentially. It's going to be
Not initially. So again, we're careful with our budget and where we spend it, and of course, there are marketplaces already available, so we focus more on us. But again, if there's demand for that and we see it as something that we need to do, then obviously
you could imagine it as part of like the immersive experience of the platform, right?
Yeah, actually, we did talk about this early on. As such,
you have various marketplaces, and they've developed over the years for players to be able to trade fairly and whatnot.
Yeah,
I believe that would be a nice feature to have, but it's not key for us because there are plenty of marketplaces where people can trade these characters and items anyway. So, yeah.
Gotcha. And I saw some people asking too, I think people are a little confused, or maybe I have it wrong, but they were saying, would you be able to walk through the world and like kind of see your character or walk with other people? But as I see it, you guys aren't building a metaverse. You're building more so like a literature piece of a metaverse, or like what the metaverse would be, but you're not actually in it, right? It's just you're just like pretending and playing with the lore.
Well, I'd say the middle ground is where we're going for. So we can't build a 3D graphical world because to get it to the standard we want would be it would cost millions and millions. But what we're going to do is have a web interface with animation and audio and characters that you can engage with. So it won't be like a 3D walk around, but you also won't just be watching passively. You will have things to click, places to go. When I say things to click, I mean things to engage with, dialogues to engage with characters, ways to influence part of the world, ways to engage with part of the world, but it's not going to be a 3D walk around.
Yeah, we're going to concentrate on the mechanics behind it because, like you said, Jimmy, like a simple game like chess or something like that, the game behind it is what's made it playable for for so long. Such a simple game. So if you get the game structure right, then the kind of graphics or whatever behind it comes kind of second.
Yeah, Minecraft being a great example of that, right? The graphics are terrible, but it's the highest grossing game ever, I believe. We're really focusing on that, the gameplay, the role play, the being involved in a fantasy world that you really feel a part of and attached to. And it would be lovely to do that in 3D. It'd be great to do that in Metaverse, but we're just realistic. We're not going to be able to do that. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what we pull off in terms of how that website, how that web interaction, how that app interaction looks, the look and feel of it. I feel like what we've got in mind is going to impress a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be great. I just wanted people to understand that, it's not going to be like World of Warcraft where you like log in with your character, say what's up to your homie,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day, but that's not what we're looking at right now.
Exactly. It's the dream, but we're realistic. So we're just going to build value one step at a time, not,
Gotcha. So those are pretty much all the questions I had. 2.5 hours. This is one of the longest ones, so I really appreciate you guys for sticking through and answering all the questions.
Of long.
Yeah, it's happened to another podcast before, breaking records.
I don't even remember how long it was meant to be, but we tripled it. For sure.
Yeah, I try to make it, I try to write down all the questions that I want to ask and keep it structured, but it is fun to kind of, branch out and talk about the movies that we talked about and talk about some of the questions and, have it be like a true podcast rather than just an interview. But
yeah, I listened to your podcast before, whilst I'm working. I always have it on my side monitor, and you just feel like you're in the conversation, don't you, when it's like that? So
I appreciate that.
Fan of the show, hopefully a friend of the show now.
Thank you. No, that's awesome. It's always nice to hear that people listen, because I'm like, I don't know, who listens, and then when people kind of come out, I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh crap, we got this is actually a cleanup. He's from his Lucky Lizard account. Let's go, baby. We on the road.
Nice.
Thanks for the
$2.
$2.
That 3 ways now, do we?
Yeah. So hold up. He has a question. Lots of boots. They ruin the mint. Any solution? What do you mean?
Oh, bots. So we kind of
bots.
covered that segment a little bit earlier. So yeah, I guess just to say that, to recap that, yeah, we're very much aware, and we are made or making plans, I guess. But yeah, can watch back the stream.
Yeah, I mean, the quick run-up was basically they're going to continue to use JPEG. JPEG store says that they're not going to have any issues and that they've resolved it. So we're going to have to trust them. And regardless, even if they did go to a different minting service, then there's no guarantee that wouldn't also be botted. So we're just,
well, so less chance of bots. So we're covering it from many angles.
Yeah, good roundup.
And shout out to Cleanup for the $20 now. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Get the train going yourself. Clark, I seen you've been in here for a while. You're asking who the founder is. I think we've answered it before, but it's actually it's Ashley, but is it also Jimmy as well? Are you both co-founder?
Yeah, so I started it off, and then as it grew beyond my expectations and realized I needed a team around me, that's when Jimmy was brought in as the co-founder, and then with what he's brought to the table has grown even more. So
Ash is the OG founder. He's the true founder. I'm the
true founder.
Ash is the OG.
And then we have any info on the next segment of lore and when that will be released? That'll
be after mint. Yeah, we're right now focusing on everything we need to do to get that mint ready. Lore 4 was, a massive part of the narrative that let us expand into the older world. and we'll start getting stories from the Elder World and the Stag Alliance Part 5 lore after the mint.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Is there anything that you guys wanted me to cover or anything that you want to say before we head out?
Not that I'm aware. You covered so much. They were really good questions, to be honest. There's
Thank you.
Plenty of questions that we haven't been asked before, so I'm sure it's been good to clarify for the community and for other listeners. You know, it's been good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having us on. And yeah, thanks for everyone that's tuned in to listen as well.
Yeah, this has been a crazy one. We had 260 people in here at our peak, so that's a new record for me. That's awesome. Even if they're botted accounts, I love you. Thank you for subscribing and helping out the channel. But yeah, we somebody is new in here. We are about to close out the space, but yeah, for posting the Discord IDs, that was for the 15 whitelist spots that we gave away throughout the 2.5 hours that we've been here. We kind of did 5 at the beginning, 5 in the middle, and then 5 at the end. That's already wrapped up. But whenever we have people on here, we do try to give out something, whether it's an NFT like Her Monsters did, or some whitelist spots like Stag Alliance just did. That's what we do. And I like you guys to post your Discords ahead of time, and then I pick the winners after. That way nobody can kind of cheat the system. So that's how I like to do it. And but yeah, we're about to close it out. I just want to say thank you again to Ashley and Jimmy for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hope to join you again and have a recap of where we are in the future. That'll be awesome.
100%. And as always, guys, remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, peace.
See you later.
Yeah.